Okay, so starting a business can be super intimidating, right? Especially when it comes to building a website and you don't have no blues clue what to do. Hey, good people, if you're new here, my name is Alex, and in today's video, I'm gonna show you how to create a Shopify store for your new business, okay? Now, this video is gonna be full of details, so be sure to stick with me through the end so that way you won't miss out on anything that you need to know about creating a website. Now, before I get started, I wanted to give a special thanks to .Store Domains for sponsoring today's video. Now, the foundation for any business, okay, starts with the store name, and you want to make sure that it's very clear that your store is for selling, okay? That's where .Store Domains come in. If your primary goal is to sell, then nothing says that better than having a .Store domain. You want to make it intuitive, right? You want to make sure that it makes sense to your audience and to your customers that your site is for selling. When it comes to domains, there's 4 points I want you to take away from today's video. The first will be authenticity. People resonate really well when it comes to real, relatable, unique stories. So you want to make sure that your brand has that for sure. Speaking of brand, number 2 is branding, okay? It's essential that your store represents a strong foundation with branding. You want to make sure that people know what your business is about. The third one being visibility. Now, the domains are indexed within the SEO, okay? So when it comes to typing on Google or Internet Explorer or whatever you use, right? You want to make sure that your domain is indexed within that SEO. So the more people find you, the more visibility you gain, and also hopefully the more sales you get. And the fourth point being mobility. Listen, we do not control these social media platforms, okay? They can go away any day and it's out of our control. But what is in your control is being able to own your own .store domain, so that way you don't have to worry about that and become, panicky when it comes to these social media platforms going away one day. Now I'm gonna hop into my computer to show you how to create a secure .store domain and then point it to Shopify. However, you can also point it to platforms like Wix and GoDaddy too. So you have more options outside of Shopify. Now let's get started. Okay, so let's get started with creating our secure .store domain. So when I'm on the site here, I want to navigate to the bottom to create my .store domain. So I'm going to come in here at the bottom here and type in where matcha. You want to make it clear to your audience that your store is for selling. So now I'm going to go ahead and click buy now. Now here it's telling me that this domain is available, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the options down here just in case I wanted to change my mind. It gives you other similar domains, and names you can choose from. I like the one I designed, so I'm going to go ahead and just add that to cart. Now here's where you can upgrade your domain experience, like if you wanted to add in an email or connect to an SSL. For today's example, I'm going to go ahead and proceed and skip this step. Okay, so here's where the best part begins. So at the top here, you see that for 1 year, I can get my wearmatcha.store domain for $4.99. Now it has the privacy protection enabled. However, I'm going to disable that, okay? And once this loads, you're going to see now that my wearmatcha.store domain is now $4.99. However, this is where it gets really, really sweet for you, because actually I have my own personal code, so that way you can receive your .store domain for only 99 cents. So over here, I'm going to remove the store 499 code, and I'm going to type in Alex Store. You can also find this in the description box below, so be sure to check that out, because once I apply it, now my domain is 99 cents for 1 year. So after those steps, this is what you should see when it comes to owning your .store domain for a year for 99 cents. On top of that, .store domains is used by over 1 million online sellers. And when it comes to those online sellers, you have some of the largest brands in the industry like Rihanna, Michelle Obama, okay, when it comes to celebrities, Maroon 5, Demi Lovato. When it comes to influencers, you have Dude Perfect and Zach King, and also by big brands like Emirates Airlines and Discord, okay? Now, as I mentioned before, I have a discount waiting for you, my friends. So if you're new to selling, you have an exclusive code down below in the description box. So that way you can get your .store domain for 99 cents. You can avoid paying all the heavy prices, okay? Especially because you're a new business. You want to cut down a lot of costs. So go ahead and click the link in my description below. So that way you can use the special code and create your .store domain for 99 cents. Okay, so now it's time to hop back into my computer to create a Shopify store. Feel free to use the chapters provided in this video. If some some sections interest you more than others. Okay, now it's time to create a Shopify store from the beginning. So when you just type in Shopify, this should be the home page that you see to go ahead and get started with creating your account. Now currently Shopify has a 7-day free trial in which you can go ahead and get started. They have a disclaimer here, try Shopify for 3 days, no credit card required, all that good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and create a store by just getting started by typing in my email. So this is where you just start following the prompts. If you want to, you have the option to skip this all or just skip to the next page, and it will just take you to what you have to do next. Okay, so now it's time to create a Shopify store to sell some t-shirts. So after we go through the marketing prompts and you sign up with your email and all that stuff, this is what you should see after all of that. So one thing about this video versus what you might see is that I've already done a few things and I'm gonna walk you through that. So that way you guys know like pretty much what I'm doing. But just for the setup guys, so Shopify is gonna give you a setup guide to get everything up and running. Very user-friendly, very intuitive. Just take your time. Trust me, it's not that hard. But what I wanna do is just walk you through some important things I did really quickly before we get started on actually building the store. So going back to our .store domain, we want to make sure we add that, so that way that's the domain that's going to pop up when people are maybe seeing like an ad, or they heard about your store and they want to check it out. Right now, right here is where you want to make sure you pay attention, because this may be a little tricky if you've never done this before. Okay, so no worries, feel free to rewind this portion, pause if you need to, because I really want to make sure you guys get this one correctly. Now, one thing that's different that you'll notice on my screen here that you may have is that when you first get started with adding a domain, Shopify is going to provide to you a video tutorial. So a lot of you, if you're doing this for the first time, you're going to see a video over here that walks you through how to connect an existing domain. Existing meaning, of course, you already created one and you just want to connect it and point it to your Shopify store. So that's what I mean, okay? So I don't have that video just because I've already connected my existing domain, but I just wanted to give you guys that disclaimer in case you don't, in case you do see a video and you want to go ahead and watch that for further instructions. But just for the sake of this video, when it comes to connecting an existing domain, what you're going to want to do is go ahead and connect existing domain. Now, from here, this is where you add your .store domain that you just created. So in the example for today, my .store name is wearmatcha.store. So you type in all of that, okay? wearmatcha.store, and then you select next. Now, your screen is going to look different than mine because, again, I've already connected my domain, but what you're going to see is it's going to have you either follow some instructions or verify your connection. Now, this is where you got to go back to your .store account to make sure you have everything set up correctly. So let me show you how to do that. Now, over in the .store account, right? So you just created your .store domain and now you want to be able to point it to your Shopify store. So right here under the Hi User, or you may put your name here, you're going to navigate to My Account. While that loads, you're going to go over to the left-hand side under Manage Orders. You're going to click List/Search Orders. And this is where you connect the DNS settings. So when it comes to connecting the DNS settings, just to simply put it, this just means how your .store domain is going to be pointed and talk to your Shopify store. That is it. But there's a few modifications you have to make so that way that's done successfully. So once you click your .store domain, this is the next page you'll see. What you want to do after this is navigate on the right-hand side, kind of like middle right, go to your DNS management, and then it's going to take you all the way down to the bottom of the screen where you're going to manage your DNS settings. Now there's two things you want to make sure you pay attention to, because honestly, you don't have to touch every single one of the tabs. You only need to focus on two. The first one being the A record, which looks like right now is disabled. That's only because that's the defaulted page, like the first page it just came to. And then the next tab you want to focus on is your C name record. So since it already defaulted to the A record, let me go ahead and click that first. I'm going to modify record. Before you modify anything, you're going to have a blank canvas to start from. So because I've already created mine, that's why you all see more information here. But when you get started, you're going to actually have an option to add a record, okay? So your screen may look a little bit different. But moving on to the A record, what you want to focus on in this section is this name, because you want to make sure you add like a host, so like www. And then you want to also make sure you add the Shopify IP address, which is this here, the 23.227.38.65. Now this TTL is going to default. Do not touch this, okay? You want to make sure that this stays the same. So once you have that added, you're good to go. You can save that record. I'm going to select view just to show you what it should look like. And now you're good to go for your A record. Now the second important tab from this screen is your C name record. And this is where you're going to go ahead and add your actual like URL, right? So Shopify is going to give you a generic URL, and I'll leave it somewhere here in the screen. It's going to say shops.myshopify.com. The biggest takeaway I want you to know for the C name record is that you're going to replace that My Shopify with whatever your .store domain name is, okay? So perfect example, I took out the My Shopify and I replaced it with Wear Matcha, and that is all I have to do for my C name record. So once you do all that, you're going to have a button that says Save Record, and now you've added your A record right here, the first option, and the C name record, and then you're good to go. So now once you've added the A record and your C name record, you're gonna have an option to verify your connection. That's gonna be kind of like in this area here, like over to the right. Once you verify that connection, you've officially connected your .store domain to your Shopify store, and now you can start creating your website. And so now I want to go into actually creating the store, okay? So you can either click right here for customizing your online store, or you can go ahead and click over here under sales channels. And as you can see, the left-hand side is going to be your Shopify navigation. So to see your orders, to see your products, if you want to add a customer manually, to see your content, which this is actually pretty new. Actually, this was not here last year, but they must have added this as like a new feature. You can add your finances, so you can see how much your shop is making, your net sales, your gross profit, your profit margins, you know, collecting sales tax, all of and everything that has to do with finances. You can also view your analytics, so seeing like how your shop is doing, your conversion rate, all that good stuff you can see here in this, pretty much like I said, the Shopify navigation panel on the left side. Your marketing, you can see all of that good stuff when it comes to your marketing strategy, seeing what's working, what you need to, you know, do differently. And also you can apply discounts or create discounts too. So I would suggest you guys get familiar with this whole left side, because this is what's going to drive your store, and this is how you're going to control everything in your store. So going back to the actual store itself, Shopify defaults to a theme. So right now it defaults to this current theme, which is called Dawn. Now, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and check this out, see how it looks. But if it's not to your liking, then down below you have like the theme store. And now this is where you can find other themes that may be more suitable for you to use. So here's the theme store. And as you guys can see, there's so many to choose from. I mean, you can go ahead and have a ball when it comes to choosing a Shopify theme. Now, one thing I do know is that when you're starting a business, you know, your budget may be small, and Shopify does provide some free themes for you. So what I'm gonna do here, just for the sake of today's video, I'm gonna click the free checkbox, and I'm also gonna click the clothing checkbox to narrow down my options to really see what I can, you know, create for my store. I actually like this spotlight one, so I'm going to select spotlight to try this out as a theme. So to actually select it and make it active for you to customize, you're going to go ahead and go to try theme. Perfect. So now, as you can see, it just added the spotlight theme. And so now let's go ahead and customize it before we publish it. So over here, your options are the ellipsis. You can go ahead and preview. You can rename the theme, you can duplicate it, you can edit the code if you want to get a little fancy, you know, with the code and like the HTML, and you can also remove it too. So I'm going to go ahead and select customize. You don't want to publish it until you are fully sure that you're done with how everything looks. So right now I'm going to go to customize, and now this is where everything is going to come to life. So as I talked about the checklist or the setup guide, I already added a product just to test it out. So I decided to call my .store domain Wear Matcha. So for all the matcha latte lovers out there, pretty much this is a merch store, right, for matcha lovers to wear, you know, my product basically. So I went ahead and created all that. So my store name is Wear Matcha. Now over here on the left hand side, similar to how Shopify's navigation is, your left hand side is going to be where you control everything for your website. So when it comes to the header, you can change that. If you want to go ahead and select a different background, you can have accent colors if you want, accent 1, accent 2, okay? I can do background 1 and then background 2 if I wanted to, and then this inverse option as well, whatever you feel is best for your brand and your business. So this is where you can be super creative, right? So moving on, if I wanted to go ahead and adjust how the logo looks, I can do top center. I like things centered, so I want to make sure that, you know, it just reads kind of in alignment. I don't want the logo positioned to the left, so I'm going to go ahead and just center that. I like it how it is. That's perfect. If you wanted to select the menu, you can add like a main menu up here, so that way your customers know, like, just again, navigating it like it's a professional website, right? So you have the home, the catalog, how they can contact you, and all of these items are customizable as well. And you can point them to different sections or, you know, to a contact, so that way your customers can contact you. So all of these clickable links here, you can customize. Up here at the top, if you wanted to check everything for your mobile phone, just to make sure that things are looking right as you're changing it, I would touch this often because you want to make sure that it is compatible to your audience on their mobile phone, because, you know, a lot of us shop on our phones. So you want to make sure that your website is compatible from a mobile, you know, a mobile device view. So from time to time, as you're designing your store, just be sure to toggle back and forth to make sure that it looks right on the desktop, but also make sure it looks right on the mobile device too, because you want to make sure, like I said, your customers can read everything from their phone. I'm going to go ahead and go back to desktop. Just wanted to show you guys that. Okay, now moving on, still to the left hand side, you can adjust like your bottom margins. You can customize so many things, you guys, but right now we're in the header, so everything I'm adjusting is all pertaining to the header. Okay, now if you wanted to add a section too, like let's just say you want to like display your popular seller or your best seller, you know, for the month or however long it's a bestseller, you can come in here and just click add section, and you can add as many things as you want. Now this may be a lot, so what you can do is just click on the actual sections and you can delete them really easily. Okay, so you can customize it virtually any way you want, any way it makes sense to you. This is where your products are going to shine, okay, pretty much. So in this particular one, you can go ahead and add like an image to showcase, like I said, like your bestseller and talk about it for a little bit. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and just select image over my left hand side. I'm going to go ahead and add that image, let that load, and just talk about this product. Perfect. Okay, so now it's like my bestseller, and I can even go into the caption, and let's just say I don't want that word caption, but let's say I like that word row. But for that, let's just say I want to say bestseller this month. And then I can continue to talk about the product, really sell it. For the matcha lovers, this is where you can also, I'm sure, talk about things that other matcha lovers love to do, right? So this is where you can really sell your product, showcase one of your best sellers in this top section if you wanted to, okay? And then you could just keep going. So now moving on to the actual like featured collection, this right here is where you can showcase a whole collection if you wanted to. So like for an example, for the heading for this collection, I can go ahead and just type check out all shirts, okay? And now you see that's right there. I can have it small, medium, or large. And then I can also type a little description if I wanted to. So it's very, very customizable, you guys. I mean, it's super easy. And again, this is a free theme, so you can always come back and change it if you want to. You know, this is the beauty of building your own website. You can create it the way that you want it to look. And I think that that's amazing, okay? Okay, so now let's go ahead and just play around with with the actual theme settings. Like, let's add a logo, let's make it more colorful, you know, let's really see what it's looking like. So I've made a fake logo because I have a fake store, okay? I just made a logo really quickly. You can make a logo yourself using Canva, or you can also hire someone, a freelancer off of Fiverr. You can do that as well. So now that you see I've added my logo, you see it right here looking really good. If I do say so myself, I just designed something really quickly, you guys. And so after your logo, you're going to want to also pay attention to the favicon. Now the favicon is the tiny icon that's right next to your store domain. So perfect example. So I have made a small favicon as well. And so actually I'm going to drag that over because I've made it already in Canva. So now when it comes to my customers finding my shop, my favicon is going to show up right by the wearmatcha.store, and it's going to look so good, and I love that. You can also go ahead and, you know, play around with colors. So let's just say for like accent colors, you want it to be like a green color, right? Because I mean matcha's green, so who doesn't want that? And you can just make it your own. I'm just playing around with the shade here. It doesn't matter. Like I said, this is where you can get really creative, okay? And then throughout your store, you'll see that accent color if you wanted to. And then for text, for like secondary color here, again, if I wanted to make it green, now I see that this text turned from black to green. If I want to make it a bold green, I can do that as well, and so on and so forth. So that's color. You want to change like the text of anything, like you could change the font. So you can go from this serif to the mono. So many fonts, so many good fonts that they have for you to choose from. I'm going to hit select and keep going from there. So again, as you can see, it is super customizable when it comes to, you know, creating a website. And you can also change so many things like the page width if you want, adjust that the way that you think is going to be best for like visual purposes. You can add like for the buttons, the thickness of everything. So for an example, the button label, okay, I just changed that thickness from, I think it was looking like this at first. So it went from that thin outline to a very like thick outline, okay? Do what you want. Have fun with it. Most importantly, have fun designing. This is gonna take you some time, so hey, my thing is make yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, play on some good music, and just really be in your store, like for real. This is one of the best parts about creating a website, is that you get to control so many things about it, okay? So yeah, this is pretty much like, again, just creating. And so this is where you'll have so much creative freedom. Again, you can toggle back and forth from your mobile view to the desktop view to see how everything is looking, okay? And you can just come back to it and just go from there. And now I want to publish this to see what's going on. Now what this is to let me know is that I have a password protected. Basically what that means is before you actually make your shop visible, there's going to be a password that is protecting your shop from your audience to view. You can disable this, so don't worry about that. So for right now, I'm just going to leave this as is, and I'm going to publish it. To remove that password, like I was mentioning, all you have to do is go to remove password, or you can manage password, and that's where it tells you pretty much like if you want to do pre-sale and you want to give your, you know, your customers the password to be able to purchase on pre-sale. Well, you give that to them, and that way they can catch some good deals for your pre-launch and your pre-sale orders and things like that. You can also just take all of this off and just disable your password, so that way it is clear that your store is open and you want to make sure that they can view everything without being restricted. I also unselected the restrict access to visitors with password, so that way everything is fair game, everything is public. And now I'm just going to hit save. Okay, so after adding my logo, I added my favicon, and I just added a product. Let's go ahead and see what the store looks like so far. So underneath the themes, I can go ahead and just select view your store, and now you see my .store domain. Okay, you see how I added my logo, you see the product here. So a custom domain can take up to 48 hours to be registered by Shopify, so don't be alarmed if your site reads not secure for the first time. I'm not finished, so don't worry about that, but this is where you can see everything come to life, and this is what your audience is going to see as well. So it's looking really good, looking really crisp and bright. I love the quality. I love what it's bringing out. Imagine adding some more t-shirts down here. You can create so much more content on your homepage too. So I can go ahead, if I wanted to add some more products, I'm going to actually go over to my left hand side and select products, and now I want to add another product. So let me go ahead and do that really quickly. And so right here, this is where you type in the title of the product. It'll give you the status of active, or if it's a draft, you can type in the description as well and just format it the way that you want to. Over here, when it comes to publishing, it lets you know like where your store will be shown. So your online store and point of sale. If you're doing like a pop-up shop and you have like a point of sale device where people can like get, you can capture their payments, this may pertain to you. If not, you can actually go in and manage all of this in your sales channels, and you can unselect point of sale. Okay, so if you only have an online store and no point of sale, just go ahead and select manage sales channels, make sure that online store is selected, and you're good to go. So I'm going to select done. Now I want to add another t-shirt in my fake store, and so now I'm going to add this one right here, hot girls drink matcha. So that's what I'm also going to title it. So hot girls drink matcha. I can type in, this is a matcha shirt for hot girls, so we can see what that looks like in the description. This is where you will also list out a lot of the good, like the qualities of the shirt. So like the material, how does it perform in the washer and dryer, things like that. So this would be a really good point to sell your product, and also let customers know their answers like more proactively. So you can go ahead and answer questions by adding so many details in the description, so that way it won't be discouraged from, actually purchasing from you. Now down here, you can set the price. So I did $25 for the first shirt. Compared at price, if you hover over this question mark, it lets you know that to display like a markdown, enter like a higher value than the original price. So for example, if I want to say this shirt was $50, what we're going to see on their front end is that now it's going to be $25. And then just to change that, all you have to do is come in and make this change and delete that out right there. So let me let you see what this looks like. Okay, I'm going to leave everything right here as is. What I want to show you first is the actual comparative price, so that way you can see what that looks like. Now, once you save after adding that product, you can go ahead and view it, and now you can see here that the hot girls drink matcha shirt was $50, and now it's marked down to $25. Okay, I don't have any of the quantity set yet, so that's why you guys are seeing sold out, but you can always change that. Okay, here's the description down here. I was typing too fast and I missed the letter, but nonetheless, this is supposed to say this is a matcha shirt for hot girls. Okay, so you see the description down there, and yeah, I mean, as you guys can see, it's coming together, right? We have us a website. You can also add your own collections as well. So let's just say, for an example, you want to add like sweatshirts. You want to also start incorporating like socks. All you have to do here is navigate to your left hand panel over to the side, and then go ahead and create collection. And so you could type in, let's just say, I'll just do shirts, for example, because that's all I have. Again, when it comes to publishing, Shopify is going to let you know that you have 2 sales channels that are active. I don't have point of sale, so I'm going to deselect that, just stick to the online store. You can also set an image for your collection, and this image is going to act as a thumbnail, right? So this is going to be what represents the collection. So I'm just going to head and add something here, just something cute. I can even type in matcha shirts just to make it sound more intuitive, basically. For your collection type, if you want to add a product manually, you can do that, or if you want to have something like automated, you can set that up as well, and then you go ahead and just fill out other information about the shirt, at the bottom. So once you're done there, now you have your collection, and here's where you can also click in and add so many more products. So I'm going to already add the products that I just added manually in this collection, okay, just to make it make sense. And so now that's how you add multiple products for one collection. Again, you can do this for sweatshirts, socks, all that good stuff when it comes to, adding your collection, adding products to your Shopify store. So now that's all said and done, let's take a look at our store just to see how things are looking. Just to give you a visual of how to set up your store, okay? So now we have more things at the bottom, and as you guys can see, you're building your store. So all it really takes is you going back and forth and, you know, customizing your theme, adding more products, placing everything in the right orientation so that way it makes sense to you. But once you're all done with that, you can publish your store and you're good to go. You can start selling right away. One thing I will suggest you do is just go over everything a few times just to make sure that you have everything ready. If you ever want to exit the theme, I would just go ahead and press this arrow over here. When it comes to setting up payments, you have your settings button, and this is where you can set up so much information. Now going back to the home page, once you viewed your store, you have other things you can do as far as your setup guide. Okay, so I still have 3 more tasks to complete when it comes to setting up everything for the initial, you know, website building. In your settings here too, this is where you can set up like your payment options, change your address, make sure that everything is right with your taxes. So I will pay attention to your settings as well. But all in all, you guys, it's pretty easy when it comes to creating a website for your t-shirt business, and if you want to use Shopify. So really intuitive. Like I said, you have free themes that you can choose from. You can play around with it. You can customize your settings, and there's so many things you can do when it comes to building your website for your t-shirt business. Okay, so like I stated in the beginning, starting a business can be intimidating, okay? Especially when it comes to not knowing how to build your store. So hopefully after watching this video, you feel more confident with starting and building your Shopify store and also adding your first few products. Listen, how you start is not how you finish, okay? You can always make changes and modify them down the road. So if you want to change your colors, change your font, add more products, then now you know how to do all of that with more confidence. Before I let you go, if you want to learn how to create more products or perhaps just learn anything else about having an at-home business, then I have these videos for you to watch. That way you can enjoy that. But as always, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you are liking the vibe, and I'm gonna catch you in my next video. Bye, y'all.